Welcome, uplifting life partners, to Marriage Mastery Simplified, cultivating extraordinary connections, the podcast dedicated to helping you build stronger, more fulfilling relationships. I'm your host, Ron Simplified Myers. Let's ignite possibilities together. So today we're diving into a crucial topic that impacts not only our personal well-being, but also the health of our partnerships. Today's Self-Love Wednesday, we're talking about letting go of unrealistic expectations and celebrating your authentic self. Now, as a podcaster and author, I often hear about unrealistic expectations in the context of marriage, expecting our partners to be mind readers or perfectly fulfill every need. But what about the unrealistic expectations we hold for ourselves? See, we live in a world that constantly bombards us with images and narratives of perfection. From social media showcasing edited lives to societal pressures to achieve a certain level of success, happiness, or even physical appearance. It's easy to internalize these messages and set ourselves up for disappointment. We create these often unconscious, unrealistic expectations for ourselves, our relationships, our careers, and even our overall life journey. When we consistently fall short of these unattainable ideals, we often experience feelings of inadequacy, frustration, and even feeling like we are unworthy and we are not enough. The truth is, these unrealistic expectations are a heavy burden, and they're preventing us from truly appreciating who we are, which creates unnecessary hurdles in our life, and it affects our ability to show up authentically and lovingly in our marriages. So today, we'll explore why we hold on to these expectations, the impact they have on our well-being and our relationships, and most importantly, how we can begin the process of letting them go. We'll also talk about the incredible freedom and joy that comes with embracing and celebrating your authentic self, flaws and all, and how this self-acceptance can beautifully transform your marriage. So we'll start by talking about the root of unrealistic expectations. Where do these expectations come from? Well, it's a tangled mess, but let's break down a few common sources, keeping in mind how they ripple into our relationships. How about this one, social media? This is a big one. We scroll through perfectly filtered photos and highlight reels, forgetting what we're seeing is often just a small, finely edited fraction of someone's reality. We compare our lives to someone else's polished end result, which can then lead to unrealistic expectations for our own lives and our marriages. How about upbringing and societal norms? From a young age, we're often taught what success looks like: getting good grades, going to a specific college, landing a high-paying job, getting married by a certain age, having the perfect wedding, and of course, the perfect marriage. Now, while some of these can be positive goals, they become unrealistic when they're rigid and they don't account for the individual paths, passions, and the sometimes messy realities of real relationships. How about past experiences? Perhaps you had a negative experience that led you to believe you need to overcompensate or be perfect to avoid similar outcomes. Or maybe you've had a stream of successes that now you feel like you can't afford to fail, even in your personal growth or in your marriage. How about internalized perfectionism? For many of us, the drive to be perfect, it comes from within. It can be a coping mechanism or a way to feel in control, but ultimately, it's exhausting and often unattainable standards that leave us feeling inadequate, which in turn can make us less present and compassionate with our partners. So the key here is to recognize that these expectations are often external and self-imposed burdens, not inherent truths about your worth or potential as an individual or as a partner. So let's talk about the cost of this unrealistic expectations and how they impact your marriage. Now, holding on to unrealistic expectations take a significant toll on our mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. And these personal struggles will usually cast a shadow over our marriages. Now let's dig a little deeper to see what this looks like. Chronic disappointment. When our expectations are out of sync with reality, disappointment becomes a constant companion. And this can lead to feelings of sadness, frustration, and even depression, making it harder to engage positively with your spouse. How about increased stress and anxiety? The pressure to meet impossible standards creates stress. We worry about not being good enough, not doing enough, not having enough. This constant state of worry can manifest as anxiety, making you less patient and more irritable with your partner. And then that brings on the feeling I'm not enough. And that's why we created our t-shirts and hoodies that say, I am enough. Good plug. How about burnout? Constantly striving for unattainable goals. It can lead to exhaustion and burnout, making it difficult to find joy in anything, including your marriage. How about damaged self-esteem? Every time we fail to meet some of these unrealistic expectations, our self-esteem takes a hit. We start to believe we're not capable, worthy, or lovable. This low esteem can lead to insecurities that project into our partners, making us defensive, needy, or we'll start to withdraw. How about strained relationships with yourself and partner? Unrealistic expectations for ourselves can directly impact our relationship with others. When we're hard on ourselves, we might inadvertently be harder on our partners, or we might struggle to receive their love and appreciation because we don't feel worthy. How about lack of presence? When we're constantly focused on what should be or what we should achieve, we miss out on the beauty and joy of the present moment with our spouse. We're not fully there in conversations or shared experiences. Well, I know the question is, how do we get on the path to letting go for you and your marriage? How do we begin to shed this heavy baggage? It's a journey. It's not a destination. But here are some powerful steps you can take to more self-love, which in turn will strengthen your marriage. Identify your unrealistic expectations. The first step is awareness. Take some time to reflect. Where are you holding yourself to impossible standards? Whether it's in your career, your appearance, your personal growth, your role as a partner. Write them down if that helps. Put it in your journal, which I know we all have, right? And if not, I would recommend that you start one so that you can begin to record your life and watch your growth up close. And as you've heard me say in the past, this journal, it might be what creates your next book or allows you to find a new passion and cause you to begin or create a brand new career. Challenge your assumptions. Once you've identified them, ask yourself, is this expectation truly realistic? Is it serving me in my marriage? Where did this expectation come from? Is it based on my authentic desires or external pressures? Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a dear friend or even your beloved spouse. Recognize that you are human and imperfection is a part of the human experience. Let's focus on progress, not perfection. Instead of striving for an ideal, focus on small, consistent progress. Celebrate the small wins and acknowledge your efforts, both personally and within your marriage. Reframe. Rewrite failure as learning. Shift your perspective on setbacks. Instead of viewing them as failures, see them as opportunities to learn, adapt, and grow. This mindset, it also makes you more resilient as a partner. I know you've used or you've heard the example of when you learned to walk. When you fell down as a kid, were you thinking of failure or even the idea of quitting, giving up? The answer is no. You saw it for what it is. It's a part of the learning process to give you the ability to walk one day. This is what life is and why it is called a journey. Limit your social media consumption or filter at least what's coming in. Be mindful how social media makes you feel. Unfollow accounts that trigger negative comparisons and follow those that inspire and uplift you. Practice mindfulness and gratitude. Be present and appreciating what you have now, both within yourself and within your marriage. You can significantly reduce the pull of future-oriented, often unrealistic expectations. How about setting realistic, achievable goals? Break down large goals into smaller, manageable steps. This builds momentum and a sense of accomplishments, both personally and as a couple. So now, let's begin embracing your authentic self and understand how it transforms your marriage. As you let go of what you're not, you create space to discover and celebrate who you are. This is the exciting part, and it's a game changer for your marriage. Define your values. What truly matters to you? When you live in alignment with your core values, you naturally feel more authentic and fulfilled, which allows you to bring your best self to your partnership. There's a book called The Values Factors by Dr. John DeMartini that is an incredible source in this area. It's one of the most powerful pieces I've ever come across. And folks, I don't take that or use these words loosely. Also listen to your intuition. Your authentic self often speaks through your gut feelings and inner knowing. Pay attention to what feels right for you, not what others expect. This builds self-trust, a foundation for trusting others. Embrace your strength and your weaknesses. Your authentic self includes your unique talents in areas where you're still growing. Both are part of this beautiful complexity. When you accept your own imperfections, you become more accepting of your partners. Let go of comparison. Your journey is unique. Stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10. This applies to your marriage too. Don't compare to anyone else's highlight reel. Practice self-acceptance. This means acknowledging, embracing all parts of yourself, the good, the bad, and the messy. It's about saying, this is me, I am enough. When you feel truly enough, you show up in your marriage with less neediness and more genuine connection. Yes, I'm going to do a plug right here. After this podcast, it'll be a great reinforcement of your learning when you go get and wear your I Am Enough merchandise, which you can get at the Simplified Uplifters Apparel online store. And it'll also create and cause great conversations when people see you with it on. Great plug. So express yourself creatively. Find outlets that allow you to express your unique voice, whether it's through art, writing, music, or any other passion. This encourages a sense of personal fulfillment that enriches your shared life. Build a supportive community. Surround yourself with people who see, appreciate, and celebrate you for who you are, not for who they want you to be. This positive external validation can reinforce your self-acceptance. And remember, celebrating your authentic self isn't about being perfect. It's about being real. It's about being kind to yourself and living a life that generally reflects who you are at the core. When you do this, you become a more secure, loving, and present partner, which is the true essence of marriage mastery. So as we close out this episode, remember, letting go of unrealistic expectations and embracing your authentic self is a continuous journey of self-discovery and self-love. It's about shedding the burdens that weigh you down and stepping into the light of who you truly are. When you do, you'll find more peace, more joy, and a deeper sense of fulfillment, both for yourself and within your beautiful marriage. Now, I want to thank you for joining me today on Marriage Mastery Simplified, and to remind you that for more exclusive training, deeper dives, behind-the-scenes content, our books, video series, the Simplified Uplifters Apparel, our clothing store, make sure you download, that's a good word, download the Simplified Uplifters app today. It's your one-stop shop for all of our resources. Located inside the Google Play or the Apple Store, you can find it under Simplify You. The U stands for Uplifters. So it is Simplify You, the letter U. And you can also find it on the website, simplifieduplifters.com, which is a duplicate of the app. Again, that's simplifieduplifters.com. We would also appreciate you sharing this podcast with those that you know need to hear. Thank you again for joining me on this transformative Self-Love Wednesday. And until we reconnect, boy, the words are not flowing today. I want you to embrace your journey. That's what I'm doing. And celebrate the incredible, authentic person you are. Don't have to be perfect. We're growing. And most importantly, remember, as I always end, and I want you to remember, And that's your power. And that is, you are extraordinary.